By racing, anything can and will happen. Look at the focus on Vidar. He's raring to go here. I think we're going to guarantee he's going to try and push his way to the front early.
Well, I think we're going to see some pretty aggressive moves on this first start line as everyone tries to settle in. Let's hope they get through clearly with no crashes today.
Everyone's sprinting, and it is Great Britain's Charlie Aldridge trying to make his way to the front with the Spaniard, David Campos, the 22-year-old from Spain, going with him as well.
Exactly, the big Spaniard there making the most of his big levers to get off the start line in a good position. Look at all these riders, they are tearing up this first climb.
Yeah, they're not holding anything back out of this start, trying to get track position early on. It is Charlie Aldridge with the front of the track position here, with Campos into, looks like Vidar in third place for Chile. And let's not forget, being a Chilean, this guy is going to grown up in altitude, training at altitude as well.
Exactly, here riding in Ligier, the best part of 1200 meters altitude, it does make a big difference. The riders that can cope with the altitude better than the others, well, obviously they've got a slight advantage, and especially on this first sprint we've been going for the best part of a minute now. These guys are full gas, and the aim is to get into that first corner in the best position that you possibly can before the technical aspect of the woods start to thin out the field, and we start going into the one-by-one positions.
And it's Mathis Azaro of France, who's also at the front of the pack. Carter Woods there in the Canadian jersey. Look out for him as well, the 20-year-old from Canada, the under-23 national champion, a winner in Andorra on the World Cup this year as well.
Exactly, we've just seen Vidar moving up into third place there. You know, the Chilean rider, he knows what he's got to do. He's really familiar with the beginning at the sharp in the race, and he's even come round now into second position, so he's looking to stamp his authority on the event, be there, show that he's number one. He knows that everyone's looking at him, and he's not afraid of that.
Oh, there's madness in the woods here. Everyone trying to find their way through. No one's going to really be able to get their ideal line on these first couple of laps when the pack is so close here. And two of the Great Britain riders there. We've got Joseph Blackmore, the 19-year-old from Great Britain. We've also got Corin Carrick Anderson, the Scottish rider there. That guy's got mountain biking in his blood.
We've got the Australian trying to come through the inside now. And of course we've got Aldridge not letting him through, making a big statement there with his nice wide shoulders, defending his position.
So it looks like Vidar is now at the front of the pack. A little bit too early to pull away so far. One of the Italians there, that's the number 71, I believe. Just getting off and pushing. One of the Germans as well. So with the pack this close, anyone in front of you making a mistake is going to have to make you stop or go around if you can. And that is just going to cost you so many seconds. It might not sound like a lot over a long race, but it all adds up. So it is Vidar, just a second ahead of Carter Woods. Azaro of France doing it for the home crowd in 3. Charlie Aldridge in 4. Sam Fox in 5 for Australia. And these riders not holding back at all so far out of the start. See Alex Miller there in 18th place for Namibia, the bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham this year. Charlie Aldridge turning on the style there over that jump in third place. They come down that downhill section now into the woods, over the tech sections now, over the logs.
This is it, we can see the field starting to establish itself into its race order now. Obviously, as you're going through the single track, you can't go through two abreast, so you've got to thin out. And of course, that's why the riders are all bunched on the start straight. So here we come through. We've got the riders, little bit of contact there from
the Belgian.
The South Africa, slight crash from the Argentinian rider.
Yeah, look at all the riders getting held up by that as well. A big hold up there for a lot of the pack. That's why it pays to start at the front of these races. It is a long race, but if you can get to the front early, that's half of the battle won there. Aldridge having to get off the bike there. Looks like Carter Woods had a bit of trouble there, stopped in front of him, and Aldridge had to jump off the bike there.
Yeah, exactly, he stalled, but we saw quite a really technical gest that he did there. So he did a bit of a track stand sideways hop. This is the trial skills that these young riders have now through their technical training. So fantastic to see, and we can see that the under-23 men, they've got a little bit more in their legs at this point, and they can get through these knots of roots, which have been a little bit problematic for the under-23 women. But as we can see here, one rider stops, you all have to stop. So again, the importance of being in the front.
That's right.
Really aggressive into this drop down now, these riders.
Yeah, all choosing to take most of them choosing the inside line. Some going for the outside though, and this is not ideal for these racers here. having to get off and push so early through this section. It's just you have to do what everyone else does. You can't ride through these riders. You've got to do the same as them, or you're just going to get stuck. Yeah,
well that's it. You know, it's better to get off early and to run through than it is to get stuck and risk falling off your bike on the first corner. Here we can see the Chilean rider, the big favourite for the event. He's already starting to stamp his authority. Let's see whether these three riders can get back on a level playing field with him.
Yeah, this is the short lap here as well before we go into the first proper actual lap. This is just to spread the pack out a little bit. Already into the tech feed zone though. Rider taking on some fluid straight away. This is what it's all going to be about, keeping those carbs, those electrolytes going throughout the race, keeping that energy up.
Especially as we're now starting to move through towards the end of the morning, so the sun's really starting to heat up, and we're looking at probably a good 24, 25 degrees again today, which at altitude is going to dry the riders out really quickly.
Here we go, so Vidar not just pulling away yet. Carter Wood still in second for Canada. Mathis Azaro of France. French really going well here today so far. Charlie Aldridge, Great Britain in fourth place. Good showing from him so far. Be looking for better. Sam Fox of Australia in fifth place, and Filippo Fontana in
a little bit of an error
place
by the Frenchman there, a bit too close to his Canadian counterpart going through that corner. He had to put his foot down, but again, with this fantastic French crowd here, helping him get straight back into the wheels.
Yeah, that's right. Not really ideal when you're on someone's back wheel and they make a mistake.
Yeah, it's all about the line choice and making sure that you're in the right place at the right time. And obviously, if you're a little bit too close, take your eye off the ball, well, it can be problematic. But the riders have got back in there now, so we can start. The top 10 is starting to pull away. It's not quite yet full gas, so we've got very small gaps. But as we saw earlier with the technical sections, well, it's thinning things out.
Yeah, the front pack of 6 riders just starting to pull away from the Italian there, the number 7.
That's it, we've got another French rider, number 10, Adrien Boishy, who's caught back up.
Oh, interesting line over that. Didn't set up for it, just went straight off it. A lot of the other riders trying to straighten up before they hit it. But Vidar just going in at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. Really interesting technique from these riders. You can tell a lot of them ride bigger bikes than cross-country, 100mm travel. A lot of them go out, have a bit of fun with enduro bikes, maybe even downhill bikes now, these guys. It really is the complete skill set to be at the front end of these races. Yeah, it really does pay off to do some cross-training now, especially with the downhill section becoming more and more prevalent in these cross-country tracks. It's not all about sprinting and climbing, it's about how good you are at descending, how good an all-round mountain biker you are. That is what cross-country is all about. Charlie Aldridge just falling back in the pack a little bit now. Yeah, that start effort really, showing that 50 seconds, minute and a half that they had there to get to the first technical section. If you went too deep, well, you're going to pay the price in the second half of this first lap. But we'll start to see the field settle down now towards the end of this first lap and into the second lap. Yeah, he'll be looking just to stay with that front pack and just hang on to it and maybe capitalise later on. As it isn't a done thing here. He may be the favourite, Vidar, but anything can happen in this sport. Exactly, he's assuming his role as number 1 favourite for this event. But you don't want to assume it too early. This is still only lap number 1, we're still only halfway through. You don't want to get too carried away too early unless you really do have a lot under your, a lot to spare. Yeah, but these other riders, they're not bad riders. They're going to be looking to exploit any weakness that they find. Yeah, if they see a chink in Vidar's armour, they are going to pounce. But what a CV that rider's gone. 22 years old from Chile, the 2021 under-23 world champion. 9 World Cup wins. 2 last year and 2 second places. And these riders are really enjoying these doubles. Fantastic to see that, they're giving it some big style marks there. What an excellent thing to see in cross-country, and this is what the young riders want to see, and this is what brings people into the sport as well. Yeah, that's right. No one wants to see riders going stiff over those. Want to see some style. Look at that. A little turn bar there from Vidar over that double out of the berm. That's definitely the quickest way through that. But they're absolutely flying down this section here. They are. Mathis Azaro from France, he's starting to put the pressure on our leader here, Martin Vidar. Yeah, he's right on his back wheel here. After this section here, only about a bike length off of Vidar's back wheel now.
Looks like Carter Woods still there in third place for Canada, but just starting to fall back a little bit. Then it's going to be Simone Avendetto of Italy. Mathis Azar, sorry, it's the other French rider, Adrien Bouchy. But these two just maybe a bit of mind games going on now. Who's going to set the pace now? Is it going to be Vidal? Is he going to force the Frenchman to try and stay with him and maybe have a little bit of a push now?
That's the 22-year-old Frenchman from racing for Absolute Epsilon on the BMC bike. You know, he's racing with the elites most of the year, so he's looking to keep the pressure on here. But you know, it's going to be interesting to see whether Vidal assumes his status or whether he tries to swap in and out with this other rider to shake up the dynamics of the event. So he is a national champion, Mathis Azaro. He's had 5 World Cup podiums to his career, so you know he's a really solid rider. We'll just see how this race develops now as they're coming into the rocks of the finish zone.
Yeah, that's right. Well, here to come through the first proper lap now onto the pasture of the course, over the drop there. More rocks, and there'll be 2 more corners. Wow, Vidal pretty much nearly jumping the whole of the rock section there.
He is to double those rocks. You know, that really takes some panache. I mean, we even saw in the short track race that, you know, the elite riders, they were struggling with that section, but he's making it look so smooth. This is obviously a really talented rider and somebody we need to keep an eye on in the future.
That's right, Charlie Aldridge choosing to take the left-hand line there. But still with the pack of 6 riders at the front, led out by Vidal. There's nothing between him and Azaro in first and second. Avendetto in 3, Carter Woods in the 4, and the Frenchman of Bouchy in 5th. Riley Amos starting to come through now for the United States of America, up into 7th place. You see him just in the back of the picture there, just off of the main pack. He'll be looking to get in touch with this pack of 6 riders here. And there's Charlie Aldridge battling it out with Sam Fox of Australia and Xavier Pereira of Brazil in 10th place. You can tell it's early in the race because they've still got the energy to pull them shapes.
They're enjoying this, and good on them.
Yeah, showing off for the fans there. It's what we like to see. I'm sure it's what you like to see at home as well. The riders expressing themselves and just so effortless. I think cross-country's come a long way.
It has indeed. You know, with circuits like this, the riders have come a long way, the bikes have come a long way. This is modern cross-country, and it's having a big impact on bike development for the future as well.
Yeah, that's right. The bike manufacturers really having to up their game as well as these courses get more and more technical, more and more, you know, downhill sections as well.
Exactly. You know, we're seeing the angles of these bikes completely change from what we've seen before. You know, traditionally the angles on these bikes were not so different from road bikes, but now we're starting to get big open head angles of 65, 66 degrees, which not so long ago, you know, would have been groundbreaking even for the enduro category of bikes. So we've got some really interesting developments here, and things like you know, the fork stanchions are changing. We're getting wider and wider. Certain brands now going from 32 to 35 millimeters, even on the cross-country fork. So things are getting more rigid. Things are still getting lighter, which is just you know, shows how much effort the brands are putting into it to improve the kit, to make sure the riders have exactly what they need for the development in this event.
That's right, this is where all of the technology for pretty much most of the bike parts, downhill, cross-country, they're all tested in prototype stage. A lot of the equipment these riders will be using, the top riders, will be in prototype stages, basically bolted onto these riders' bikes to give feedback, to give telemetry of how these parts are working, how they can be improved before they hit the market for the general public. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we're a little bit through the prototype phasing here. You know, when you get to a world championship, you can't be showing pure prototypes because obviously you have NDAs, you have a lot of investment on these parts. But when you get to here, it's more pre-series. It's you know, it's proving the concept's been proved. It's now about getting the results under the wings of these products. And you know, you can see these bikes, all the riders here, full suspension bikes. Pretty much every rider's got a dropper post as well. So the bikes are maybe a little bit heavier than what they could be, but you know, the compromise has been situated because, as we've seen, the rock gardens, the drops, this is a really technical circuit and it's really explosive, so the riders need the kit that's going to handle it.
So still nothing to separate these front three riders, Vidar, Azzaro and Avendetto in the gold, silver and bronze positions so far. Still pretty competitive behind them as well for those lower placings. See Carterwood just about hanging on to the pack there. Then we've got the other Italian, Filippo Fontana, in 5th place.
Exactly, these riders, they're really pushing hard. They're looking to make the differences where they can. The race isn't yet settled, so we're going to see a little bit of the elastic pulling out, but is it going to snap? I'm not sure yet. We'll possibly see some riders coming back from the second group on the track.
That's right, a quick couple looks over the shoulder there from Vidar just to see where everyone is around him. Trouble is not to do it too many times. Whenever I try and do it, I nearly crash. Whenever I try and look over my shoulder for riders.
That's because we're not the sharp end of the under-23 World Championships, Toby.
Yeah, I guess. We're close. But a little slight mistake then from a couple of the riders, just stalling there in those rooty switchbacks there. There's Xavier Pereira of Brazil. And the front three riders here, sorry, front four riders here. 5 now it is. But those front three just starting to pull away from Fontana and Riley in 5 and 6.
We'll see the Italian rider putting a foot down there. That's going to cost them a couple of meters. That's going to be extra effort to get back to on, because those two riders in front, they're not going to sit up and wait for them to come back easily. Yeah,
Avendetto having to unclip, dab, and then clip back in as well.
It's an interesting line choice there between the Chilean and the French rider. The French rider, he's not even trying to line up, he's just going straight off the edge, which means he's landing in the roots to one side. So it's actually opening up his corner for the line underneath. This is really interesting difference in technique from the riders in the line choice.
Yeah, so a third of this race through now, 2nd of 6 laps. No one really showing their hands just yet. You can imagine it's going to be around the 4th or 5th lap where someone's really going to start to try and pull the pack apart, like we saw in the under-23 women's.
Exactly, with riders at this level, you know, they're putting the power down, they're making the differences, but nobody's really going to start attacking yet, because obviously you play your hand too early, it can come back like a big stick of bamboo. So these guys, they've got to be careful, they've got to put the effort in, but obviously they've got to make sure that they're doing the right thing at the right time. The race plan of these riders, each rider will come in with his own idea of what he has to do, where he has to be, his strengths, his weaknesses. The strong climbers are obviously going to put a lot of effort in on the climbs to make that difference there. The technical riders, as we've seen, the French guy, he's really smooth, so he's going to be looking to obviously make the difference there as well. We've got a real race in our hands here, despite the fact that obviously Vidar is the favourite. World champion, 9 World Cup wins, 4 times national champion, top of the category, 22 years old. He's the lead rider, and he's the one that's got the target on his back. It looks to me like we've got Obelix in the crowd there.
We've got a microphone. He's after our job by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But it looks like Great Britain's Charlie Aldridge down to 19th now, so just falling down in the pack. Maybe that opening sprint, maybe a little bit too much too soon. We've also got more British riders in the mix as well. We've got Joseph Blackmore. He's currently in 22nd place, just behind Alex Miller, the Namibian medalist at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham earlier this year. Also, we've got Rory Maguire in 31st place for Great Britain, and Corin Carrick-Anderson in 41st place for the young Scot.
Yeah, you can see these riders, they've got the effort all inscribed on their face here. You know, they're looking forward, they're breathing hard, but they're fully aware that they're only on lap 2 of 6, so they've got to play with what they've got, but they're into their rhythm now. You know, the initial start effort up that steep climb has gone through. They know they're in rough positions where they can fight through to the finish. So let's see how this this phase of where the race is just bedding in is going to pan out.
Yeah, you can already see the Italian rider Fontana having to unzip his jersey, so the heat's starting to get to him now. Looks like a move here from Riley Amos, trying to go around the outside of Carterwood and Scatti of Switzerland as well. Looks like he's made that move stick. So many fans lining the track here in the woods here, pushing these riders along, especially that rider in second, the French rider. He's going to be trying to use that energy and feed off of that energy and give him a little bit more a little bit more performance here. It's probably, you know, I wouldn't know how it feels, but it's got to be amazing to feel the energy of that home crowd. It's got to give you a lift, surely.
Oh, exactly. Having all those fans out there, all those supporters, all cheering, all giving it their all. You know, they're on point. You've seen this morning we've had the French win in the under-23 women's just before, and France having another rider up here fighting for the podium already. Another 23 men's. This crowd, you know, they're going to give him an extra 15-20 watts in his legs today.
Still Vidal looking good at the front and pulling along Mathis Azzaro of France with him. Simone Avendetto of Italy in the bronze medal position right now. One of the more technical parts of the course in view here. You can see Charlie Aldridge just going through the back of the screen there.
Here we come through the jump section. This is really fun to watch. These riders are styling it up. Yeah. The Nino whip.
Yeah, Nino whips all round.
I can tell who their idol is. The section down through the woods here.
Just look how
the camera angle doesn't really do it justice. You know, as they're coming into this chicane here, it's really tight. It's great fun. The riders get spat out now onto the bike park.
Yeah, that's right, into the real léger part of the course here. A little rest here to try and save the legs for the next part of the course.
Yeah, as they come out of the bike park, there's a really steep little climb. And we see the Brazilian rider, Xavier de Oliveira, giving it some style over the jumps there.
See, the rider's just backing into this corner. Look how blown out these corners. Almost reminiscent of the downhill track yesterday. Just how rooty and how dusty it is.
Exactly.
Could catch out a few riders because that will be loose there. And the track will devolve as the day goes on as well. So it's going to get worse as the day goes on with conditions on track, with the course drying out.
Of course, and by the time we get through to the last race of the day this afternoon, next up we have the Women Elite Cross-Country World Championships. And at the end of the day, we have the Men's Elite race. And of course, the British favourite Tom Pidcock, he's going to really revel in those conditions, deteriorating with his bike handling skills that we've seen many times mountain biking. But I think probably the clearest demonstration he's shown of his qualities was actually during the Tour de France, when he bridged across to the break and made everybody else look like juniors on their bikes. It was something special, I think.
That's right. We're really seeing a real masterclass in cross-discipline riding there from Tom Pidcock. Very exciting rider to watch. We can't wait to watch him later on. But we're in the under-23 cross-country Olympic race here at the 2022 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Leger.
And here we see the renaissance of Italian mountain biking. They're not just good at painting, they're also good at riding bikes. And here we've got two riders in third and fourth place. You know, they got back on, they're looking smooth. Let's see if they put some pressure on these front two riders here.
So really having to pick the bikes up over those rocks. That's going to take some energy out of them, especially before that long straight as well.
But the fact that there are now two of them in this group of four, you know, teamwork can come into play. If these boys play it correctly, they play it smartly, you know, they can send a rider up the road, force the other two to do the effort to come back. Just have to see what the team orders are here.
Yeah, that's right. And these riders won't be getting any instructions. Radio devices banned from teams to rider. So it will literally just be shouting at them what the game plan is as they ride past the tech feed zone, and just telling them whereabouts they are in the race and who's around them.
Exactly. But more at this point, it's more about giving them the information that they need, the time gaps, who's where. But the race plan will have been decided before. There'll have been team meetings last night. There'll have been team meetings all week. You know, they'll have been briefed, rebriefed, and double briefed. And you can see here, one of the Italian riders, they're making a move up the outside. Yeah. This is bike racing at its very best, people.
Oh, it is. And there's two of the French riders there, the number 10 and the number 20. That is Adrien Bouchy and Luca Martin of France in 10 and 11. So the rider skills really on display here. Cross-country mountain biking evolving so much in the past couple of years. Riders having to really work on their skill set, so they're real all-round mountain bikers, not just climbers, but descenders, jumpers, everything now. It really pays just to be good in every discipline.
Here we have our favourite Vidal. He's decided that he's not happy with having the two Italian riders coming around him. he's put the hammer down, and he's also dropped our French rider that we have in there.
Yeah, legs going away like pistons there of a car engine, really starting to push now. This could be a kick from him. He's going to put the pressure on the riders behind him. They're looking at him, they're thinking, wow, where's he going? I think this could break these riders behind him.
Exactly. This is really hard for morale. This is where you have to accept that the guy in front, he's grown a set of wings, he's taken off, he's put, what, a good 10, maybe even more seconds into them just since the finish line alone. That climb really steep, up to 17% gradient on that fire road there. It's absolutely brutal, not to be underestimated, and he's now dug a big gap, and so the French and the Italian riders, so we've got Azzaro in second, Avondetto in third, Fontana in fourth. They're going to have to get over the fact that the lead is now taken off. So what's their choice? Do they sort of hold their effort, work together, and then come back at him later on? Or do they try and go with this big effort? I think, we can see here they've decided to play safe for the moment. The favorite for the event, he has taken off, so let's see how they bounce back from this.
Yeah, maybe they're just going to let Vidar just go away and race at his own pace and see if he can hold that pace. And if he doesn't, they'll be the first to pounce on him if he blows up early in this race. I mean, halfway through the race is a bold time to be going for an attack at the front here from Vidar. But if anyone's capable of it, it's going to be him.
Exactly. We're 26 minutes into this race. We're looking at an hour and 15 to an hour and 20 minutes total race time. It's quite a it's quite a bet to take off so early, but he looks smooth, he looks powerful. Very resemblance of a certain Nino Schurter, I think, as he's going through, not just the Scott bike that he's on, but you can see his aggression and his technique as well. And let's see how he builds through this event in the coming laps. So we've got a 16-second gap. That's phenomenal in just one climb.
Yeah, in just one sector of this course, he's pulled out 16 seconds, and it looks like he's going to pull some more time out. You can just see the difference in pace watching him ride against Azzaro and Avondetto. That looks visibly quicker, pedaling harder everywhere, punching up that bridge there.
He is indeed. Here we have the American number 13, Riley Amos, coming through. Looking nice and smooth there in 6th place.
We're still seeing Vidar just starting to stamp his authority on this race here. This is going to put the pressure on the riders behind him. This is where we're going to see.
This is where he's gone.
Kick.
This is where Vidar put the power down, and you can see the Italian was actually a bit closer there. It was Avondetto who was closer, so he'd obviously made a move up the outside, but Vidar said, no, this is my time, this is my race. You want it, you've got to come and get it.
Yeah, those legs really pumping away. The speed they're going at compared to the other riders, he really wants to gap the rest of the field.
And not only that, but his attack, it almost looked, he had his mouth closed, he didn't even look to be breathing. So obviously the Chilean rider, very familiar with racing at altitude, which is of course here at a circuit 1,200 meters up. It really is an element you have to take into account. It's not easy racing at altitude. Every effort that you make, you can make those efforts initially, but it's just you have real difficulties in keeping it going afterwards.
That's right.
Here he's sending it into this technical section through the woods. Really impressive riding.
That's right, the air thinner at altitude, so for every breath you take less oxygen in. But he'll be used to that, being from Chile. Oh, Amos getting stuck in them roots there. Luckily managing to unclip in time to not fall off.
He did indeed, but you can imagine that's not just stolen momentum, stolen time, but it's also, next time he comes through there, he's now going to have a doubt. He's going to think, right, what, is this going to happen again? Am I going to lose more time? It's a real mental issue as you're coming in there to then decide to make the right moves at the right time, and obviously you've got to be full of confidence, as only racers at the top of their game can be, to bounce back from that on the next lap through.
And that's going to be the number 12 coming through the tech feed zone, Mattis Azzaro. And that gap really starting to come up now. 16 seconds last time. And we'll see just how far Vidar has pulled ahead of the pack again. It looks like it might have actually come down.
Yeah, as we saw, the French rider didn't react straight away to that attack. Like I say, it's always early on in the race like that. If you go too deep, you can pay for it later, and obviously you've got to be able to to be able to deal with that massive peak of power. So let's see just how it happens, because he's pulled away, but they're now riding at the same speed. So it's probably quite an intelligent choice by the Franco-Italian pairing there to just, okay, we know he's an aggressive rider, we know he's powerful, we know he's punchy. Let's let him wear himself out, and we'll get him back. We'll pin him back in, say, lap 4 to 5. Yeah,
instead of trying to chase him down and wear themselves out. That's what Vidal will be hoping they will do, is to try and catch him, wear themselves out early on, and allow him to pull away further at the end of the race here. Halfway through the 6th lap here on lap number 3 here in Leger. It's the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships, the men's under-23 Olympic cross-country World Championship race, and you can see the sweat really starting to appear on these riders now. They're really working hard.
They are indeed. Let's see if the Italian rider's up to giving a few helping hands here to the French rider Azzaro. It should be, if these riders can pull together. Our leader here, Vidal, is not pulling away much further than he was just earlier on. So, this is he's obviously playing to his own race plan, but the guys behind, they've seen him coming, and they're going to be looking to work together to pull him back and challenge his domination of this event. Yeah,
Vidal just starting to feel the heat, quite literally there, having to zip the jersey down, unzip his jersey a little bit there. But if these two are clever, they can help each other out here.
They've pulled 4 seconds back, so you see Vidal put a big effort in there. Is he going to pay for it? Has he just, or is he just waiting now? He's letting his legs recover from that violent effort to get the gap. Let's see how Azzaro and Avondetto can do to pull it back. Are they going to work together, or is Avondetto going to let Azzaro do the majority of the work?
And let's not forget Filippo Fontana. He'll be ready to pounce on any mistake from any of the top 3 riders in 4th place to get himself a medal here today. Schiatti of Switzerland as well. And that looks like Bjorn Riley coming up to 7th place. Good riding from him so far. He's moving up through the pack just behind his USA teammate Riley Amos. Dario Lilo of Switzerland as well up to 8th place. Carter was just falling back down to 9th position, the Canadian. But this man going nowhere at the moment, still in 1st place. But the gap down to 12 seconds. Still working hard visibly on that bike there. But these two riders are going to have to try and work together just to stay with this man here, help each other along.
That's it. They can. These are the Franco-Italian alliance. Let's see if it works through in this race. But obviously, in bike racing, you've got to take risks. You've got to push hard. But at the same time, as if you work together, you can find mutual advantage within that. So, but with mountain biking, obviously the difficulty of this circuit here is, well, it's so steep, it's so hard that, well, you either have the legs or you don't really.
And these two obviously going to be sick of being behind this guy all around the World Cups as well. They're going to want to beat him so badly here, aren't they?
Exactly. If there's one place you can beat him, it wants to be at Worlds, doesn't it? Especially for the French rider with this huge French crowd that's growing by the minute.
We're into the downhill section of the course now, and Vidal making it look smooth, making it look effortless over some of these jumps here, through the switchbacks as well.
Yeah, that big step up with a double, that's not a small jump. It's really big. You can kind of get the scale of it here, but as you come into it, that's a huge rock face. Or rock face. Earth face, but, it's as hard as concrete, that ground out there.
Oh, that will be in the sun.
That bike park gets baked dry every year.
They're coming through. Good ride then from Riley Amos on the number. Sorry, that's Bjorn Riley. Bjorn Riley, one to look out for, I think, here, as he's working his way through the pack here. A great aerial shot here, just showing those switchbacks in the sun as well, showing all the fans lining the course here in Leger, creating an awesome atmosphere all weekend for the World Championships here. Great to be back here. Last time was 2004, long time ago.
18 years, some of these riders, they were barely born 18 years ago for the World Championships here. When we start looking about Adrien Boissy and Barriere Gustavo from Brazil, these guys 19 years old. They would have been. They wouldn't have remembered this.
Yeah, they would have been potty training when this World Championship was last year. The two riders working together still. Mathis Azzaro of France in 2nd, and Simone Avondetto of Italy in 3. Still the man with the number 1 on his back. Martin Vidal of Chile, the pre-race favourite.
He's using all of his skill to spend no effort whatsoever through those rock gardens. You know, he's hitting the first rocks, he's trying to gap them. He's not pedaling through, he's using his speeds. That shows fantastic technique from the Chilean rider up in front.
I'll tell you what, Azaro not dropping his seat post well. You see it just come up and hit him over the rocks there. That will have him a little bit of a fright, I'm sure.
He's just checking to have a look where is Vidal. Let's see what the time gap is here over the line. I'm pretty sure we're going to pull back a little bit more time again.
Yeah, oh no, it's going to be 12 seconds again, so still around the same pace. They're staying on pace with him. He's not pulling away any more time, is Vidal. Halfway through this 6-lap race here on lap number 3. Sorry, lap number 4. We've just started now, so we're over halfway through this race here in Le Gay. And there goes Scatti of Switzerland, Fontana of Italy, Riley Amos of the USA. And the back of the picture, that will be Bjorn Riley as well. Not to get confused with Riley Amos and Bjorn Riley.
They're not making it easy for us today, are they?
Oh no, they're not. They're not. See the Canadian Carter Woods has fallen back some in this race, as has David Campos as well, the big Spaniard with the number 5 plate. It's still Vidal's race.
Yeah, the brutal start to the circuit. You can see here the Italian Avondetto, he's come through on Azaro. He's looking to put the power down. And look, they're bridging the gap back up. This is what I meant earlier.
Has Vidal gone too early here?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to this, but obviously it's going to be a coup to his morale. You know, he's taken off in front. He's looked to impose his domination as he's done all year, being world champion and all his World Cup wins. And now, you know, it's not worked. These guys have come back to him.
Yeah, could this be more mind game though? Could he be just falling back a little and then he's going to go for the same thing again, maybe a lap later? Or has he just emptied a bit of that tank just a bit too soon, and now he has to try and maybe reserve some energy for the latter half of this race?
Exactly, time will tell, but you know, you can see here the small Italian rider, he's really put the Avondetto, he's really put the hammer down. He's pulling away from the French rider here. The French rider we saw, he's not a particularly punchy rider. Vidal, when he attacks, he just let him go. He rides at his own speed, so he's going to pull it back. But let's see how Vidal reacts to being caught by the riders that he had dropped before. I'm pretty sure we can expect.
Oh, he's ahead, he's ahead.
He has.
Oh, Avondetto has gone into the lead of this race for the first time here today. Vidal down to 2nd place. Is this part of the plan for Vidal? Maybe let Avondetto set the pace for a bit. Let him wear himself out, maybe. But he's staying on his back wheel here, is Vidal.
Exactly, these guys, they know each other very well. Avondetto, he's got 11 World Cup podiums to his name. Vidal has 9 World Cup wins, so you know they've been duking it out through their entire career.
So here is the move for the lead, and Avondetto around the outside. Vidal still staying with him though. Is Avondetto going to try and maybe pull away now?
Avondetto, what he'll do now is he's got back on, but he's got back on right in the technical woods, so we saw he made the difference on the steep climb. You know, they're going to ride together down through the woods, and I'm pretty sure that as soon as it goes back up this next steep fire road climb, if he has anything on those legs, he's going to try and make Vidal pay for his efforts earlier.
Yeah, it looked like he was just closing that gap then, so they're right on top of each other. The problem Vidal's going to have now is not going to have his ideal line choice. If he wants to follow Avondetto through here, he's going to have to maybe take the same lines that Avondetto is going to take through these woods as well.
Exactly, you know, we've seen these riders, they're really skillful, they know what they're doing, they've got confidence in one another, they're sharing World Cup podiums all through the year. The big question's going to be is, are they going to look at each other, or is Avondetto going to take it on?
Oh wow, taking separate lines here, and it worked better for Avondetto.
But let's see, I'm pretty sure that Vidal, he's not going to give Avondetto any help whatsoever. You know, the guy, he's bridged back across to him. You're strong enough to catch me, okay. Well, you show me that you can ride away from me then.
That's right, all the mind games come into play. Everyone maybe waiting to show their hand till later on, as the Avondetto just starting to pull a few bike lengths ahead of Vidal now, the pre-race favourite. Could have an upset here on the cards. Oh, brilliant little bit of jibbing there from Avondetto, just popping the back wheel over, getting himself round that corner.
Here comes the Frenchman, as we said just now. You know, he's not gone with that violent effort, so he's obviously a rider that prefers riding himself in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be very, very dangerous in lap 5 and 6 of this event. Yeah,
he could come to fruition at the end of this race. Oh, Vidar, mistake from Vidar.
Exactly.
Oh, and a mistake as well. It looked like he just got caught out by Vidar's mistake and had to slow right down, lost his momentum and had to stall there. This is going to play right into the hands of Simone Avendetto, though. As really, he's starting to pull away now from that mistake from the two riders behind him, and that is gonna, you know, it's gonna do his race no harm at all. Here we go, look at that. Yeah, mistakes from both of those riders there. I'm sure Avendetto's gonna look over his shoulder. Where they gone? Where they gone?
Yeah, you don't want to give a rider of Avendetto's caliber any free air whatsoever, so they're gonna have to club together to pull it back. As we see Azzaro, he's going to be looking forward to those big long climbs. Vidar, he's looking to suffer a little bit now from his earlier efforts, so let's see whether the Italian can capitalize on what he's managed to create for himself so far in this event.
That's right, we're into the tech feed zone now on lap number 4. Time to take some fluids on and also cool down as well. You see them pouring that liquid on them, trying to cool themselves down under them jerseys. Quick look over, well, not over the shoulder, it was under the arm, wasn't it? That look there from Avendetto.
Looking over your shoulders, a bit too much effort at this state in the race. So yeah, we can see here that the pre-race favourite Vidar, he's starting to pay for that effort that he put in on lap 3 there, and the Italian rider pulling away. And even now the French rider himself of Azzaro is starting to drop Vidar. So his status of favourite, you know, he's not struggling to live up to that at this point in the race, but we do have 2.5 laps to go.
So can Avendetto hold this pace here? Quickly looks over, looks down further down the course. Where is Vidar gone? Vidar back down to 3rd then. We've got Matis Azzaro is now up into 2nd. So it's paid off for these two, the Franco-Swiss riders here. Like you said, they played it clever. And it's worked out for them. They're now in 1 and 2 here with Vidar all the way down to 3rd place now.
Indeed, the first 2 or 3 laps, Avendetto was playing a really smart race. He was letting everybody else do the efforts. He wasn't making the big top-end power accelerations to get back on. He was riding a smooth race. Obviously, you know, really well briefed by the Italian team as to what he has to do and how he has to go through this event. And Azzaro, exactly the same thing. He had a nice race plan, and with all the French crowd here, you know, that's giving him the extra motivation he needs to go and now hunt down Avendetto, who's leading this event.
Not looking 100% comfortable there, Vidar. Looks like he's having to work for this here.
Yeah, you know, when you put 16 seconds into everybody in such a short space and then they come back to you, it can cut both ways. You put those 16 seconds in, you leave up the road, then you know they're the ones that are struggling. But if they come back to you, then obviously your morale is going to take a hit, and he's going to need another lap and a half to get his breath back and get his head back on his shoulders. But he's still in the fight for a bronze medal. There's still a big gap between these front 3 and 4th place, so his race isn't over yet, not by a long stretch.
Oh, and he's fallen 24 seconds back now as Vidar. As Avendetto just starting to pull away now. 11 seconds ahead of the 2nd place rider, Matis Azzaro of France. And just saw him climbing just now, Avendetto, and he really, you know.
Yeah, he's giving it all right now. You know, he's putting all the stops out, but it's still dangerous. It's still only lap 4 of 6. You know, if he's giving it everything now, well, obviously Azzaro, he's more of a linear rider. He's keeping the same pressure on. I'm pretty sure if we look at the lap splits, he'll be a lot more constant than the other 2 riders that we've seen have big accelerations and then had to absorb that effort. But of course, you know, Avendetto, he's not a beginner. He's been racing this scene for a long time. He knows what he can do. He's on top of his form. It is the World Championships. It is the big one.
And through the rocks there nicely from Matis Azzaro of France. That crowd really getting behind him here, as you can see and hear.
Yeah, this little section here is really technical. It's a little U-shape, so, you know, as you're coming in, you can see the riders coming out.
There we see Avendetto over the jumps here. Nicely as well, keeps it nice and smooth, carries some good speed into this section here. Into this section that really drops away from you with the switchbacks.
Yeah, one of the coolest parts of the circuit, all in the shade. There doesn't see hardly any sunshine throughout the year. A little bit of a breather. I mean, you can see how exposed the rest of the circuit is for these riders in the plains. So it's nice for them to have a little bit of shade, bit of freshness.
A lovely view of the surroundings there here in Leger, in this lovely mountain range here in the Port du Soleil region of the south of France. Choosing not to jump that step up there, just choosing to drop the back wheel, and that'll cost him some speed compared to the rest of them. Vidar still looking good on this section here though, but you can physically see the gap on between riders 1, 2 and 3, with Vidar just coming into the top of your, literally flying into the top of your screen there.
Lucas Schatti from Switzerland again, really stylish rider, these Swiss boys. You know, you have to be top 15 in the world to even consider getting into the Swiss national team. That just shows the level that they have. And of course, it's not just their physical prowess, their technique is second to none. With guys like Nino leading the way, these boys can ride bikes.
Yeah, that's right. It's never been harder to get picked for a national team than it is now, especially if you're French, Italian or Swiss, with the depth of talent so deep here in mountain biking. Just to get picked for your country is an achievement in itself, let alone to actually go and win the race. For this man here, Simone Avondetto, looking in charge of this race now, lap 4 of 6.
He's holding nothing back, he's giving it everything he's got. Let's see how that translates into the last 2 laps. Giving it the big one up this climb here. It's obviously nice, dry conditions. It's not what we've seen for the cross-country short track, where this grass was deadly slippery and those rocks there. And now they've got a bit of grip back. We saw quite a few nasty crashes at the beginning of the week, and because it's dried out, well, the riders can now gap these rock gardens.
And a good battle here between 7th and 8th place Dario Lillo and Bjorn Riley of the USA, especially coming into this part of the course.
This is one of the few areas where you can get a little bit of respite, despite the fact the guys are pedaling. You know, you can see coming into the feed zone here, a little bit of a drink. Feed zone, finish zone, sorry.
So Avondetto coming into the penultimate lap now. We're now on lap 5 of 6 here in Leger. Three quarters of an hour into this race here, and the crowd getting behind that rider there. Matis Ozaro going over the line, and here comes Vidar. Not looking very punchy out of that final corner at all,
No,
you have to say.
He's used a lot of his energy to try and impose on the race at the beginning, but Avondetto and Ozaro, they weren't intimidated. They stuck to their game plan, and now it'll be to see, you know, the second half, who's planned to attack, who's planned to keep a bit of energy. I'm pretty sure that Ozaro, you know, he's 13 seconds down now on Avondetto. Let's see whether he can pull some of that back. He's lost a couple of seconds on that climb, but now we're at the start of this big long climb that takes us up to the top of the circuit. So we've got the best part of 70-80 meters vertical climbing, and it's brutal. It's between 10 and 17% this climb, so the riders are really going to have to pull all the stops out and exploit their machines to the fullest to get up there.
And you have to say, with Vidar 24 seconds back on the penultimate lap, it's going to be a mammoth task now to get back in to that first position place ahead of Simone Avondetto, who's really took control of this race just now. This man right here, number 3 on his plate there, looking calm and in control of this race, has played the tactics right so far. He let Vidar go off and do his own thing, and Vidar fell back. And then it was Avondetto's turn to pounce there.
Vidal with his tongue out there, the Rondo climb, you know, this is really hurting all those efforts he put in earlier on. We've got Ozaro, the French favourite here. You can see the crowds really pushing him, supporting him all the way along. We can hear from here, we've got the chainsaws going, we've got the horns, we've got the bells. This is Leger, this is mountain bike racing, this is fun, you know, this is sport at its very best.
Yeah, the riders don't hold anything back, but neither do the fans here in France.
They certainly don't.
So Vidar just settling into some pace now. Maybe try and go for an attack on the final lap, but I tell you what, Luca Schiatti of Switzerland just on his back, starting to come up on the back wheel of Vidar now. So Vidar may be in danger of even falling out of the medal positions here. The reigning world champion for under 23 men could come away from this race without a medal.
Exactly, that's the That's obviously the big danger as you come in as the race favourite. You come in as reigning champion. You've got a target on your back, and everybody has been studying you over the last year, what you do well, where your weaknesses are.
So we can see the French team member. He'll be relaying information to his rider there, running along with him.
That looks like it's Julian Absalom. No, it's not Julian, because obviously all we have is Azari rides for Julian's team. For BMC Absolute Absalom, so this is a really strong rider, big future in front of him. We can just see the Italian rider going out of shot in the top left-hand corner. So we've lost a bit of...
Oh, wow, a New Zealand rider there has had a puncture. Well,
no,
his whole wheel's blown out.
Must
So
have.
he could have cased one of the jumps there, and the wheels just exploded.
Yeah, these wheels, they're really lightweight, they're really strong in...
Yeah, they're not designed for square
shocks,
impacts.
but as soon as, you know, if you land sideways, they're not designed for that. The unidirectional carbon fibre, if you land wrong, it will break.
Yeah, and it could have happened many places on this course as well, maybe off one of the drops or one of the jumps, or even just hitting one of those rocks at the wrong angle.
Exactly. You know, we're on lap 5 of 6 now, so fatigue starting to set in. You make the smallest error, you land just a couple of degrees off, and the force and the speed that you're coming at it, well, yes, you know, that can be the result. You can end up breaking quite considerable components. So the Italian rider, Avendetto, just going up over the bridge there, the crossing point in the course. He's looking really strong. He's pulled out even more time on Azaro now. He's up to 18 seconds. And Vidar has had a mid-race collapse. He's now 50 seconds back, with Schiatti just 6 seconds further back behind him. Yeah,
he's really fallen into the clutches of Schiatti, the Swiss rider. Just 6 seconds between the two of them now. So Vidar's race could be coming undone here. Seeing some style there from the French rider. Mathis Azaro currently in second, in a bit of a race of his own here, unless he can make up 11 seconds, or sorry, 18 seconds on the rider in front, Simone Avendetto. Really commanding this race now.
Yeah, Avendetto, you can just see he's a lot more fluid, he's a lot more aggressive, he's not slowing down. It's going to be very hard now for Azaro to peg back that difference. But you know, he's not giving up, he's keeping the power on. We'll see through the next long climbs just how much he's got left in the legs and whether he can actually make the difference there. Because looking at the speed of Avendetto down through this technical section, you know, he's not losing anything here, so let's just see what's going to happen up the next physical section.
Yeah, that's right, working his way through them routes very well there. Looking smooth, looking in control, especially this late part of the... Whoa! See,
that's
Vidal,
exactly, that's the tiredness coming in
leant
there.
Against that tree on the inside, almost held him up.
Looking at his shoulders, I'm pretty sure he's not worried about a tree.
No. So Vidal really starting to feel it now. He seems like he's just blown up somewhat after going too early. I don't think he expected the other two to come back at him the way they did, and I think that's maybe destroyed him a little bit.
Yeah, the confidence he had coming in to attack that early and that hard. You know, he really thought he was going to ride away from everybody, but these following riders, the Azaro and Avendetto, they've proved him wrong. They've pushed through, they've shown that they were ready for the race as well. They knew what was coming, and they've reacted accordingly.
But the thing is, all the pressure coming into the race will have been on Vidar as well, as the current world champion and also the man who's really in form and dominating the under-23 World Cups. So the other riders, nothing to lose here at all by attacking them.
Exactly. I mean, you even could go so far as to say, you know, what was their plan for the season? Did they come into the season saying, right, you know, we really want the Worlds? We know that Vidar is going to be up there all year long. He is the dominant rider, but that doesn't mean to say that we can't get him at Worlds.
Exactly, and this is the race where no one holds anything back, and Vidar definitely didn't hold anything back. Maybe could have done with holding a little bit back for the last couple of laps of this race, because he's really starting to blow up now. Azaro now, the gap to 18 seconds back. So that's 5 seconds in just one part of the course here that Avendetto has pulled away from Mathis Azaro of France. Avendetto really going for it here, got the bit between his teeth with a lap and a bit just to go here in Leger, France.
And he's got the smell of that jersey in his nose, and he's got the taste of the medal in his mouth. He's really given it his all now. You can see he's focused, but he's not got any signs of weaknesses. You know, he's keeping that power down. He's got the race grimace on, but there's no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, that's right. He's got that tunnel vision now, it seems, just focusing on getting over the line. But let's see if this man here can put any time into him. Mathis Azaro in front of the home crowd. Can that give him the lift he needs as we come to the edge of this race? Look at them all along the side of the course, literally shouting in his ear. They'll be shouting, allez, allez.
Yeah, he had a little stretch there. He was up out the saddle, so obviously the effort's starting to take its toll on his body now. You know, getting close to the hour point.
Here we go. It's for the bronze medal. This one, Vidar had absolutely nothing there for Shatti of Switzerland. It just breezed past him there, and Vidar looking in trouble here.
That was a really well-played move. Obviously, the Swiss rider snuck up on him from behind, saved a little bit of effort, and then if you can make that little acceleration as you go through, you can really break the morale of a rider that you've caught. So really well played here. You can see that these riders, despite being in the under-23 category, they've got a lot of racecraft, and it's really, really impressive to see at this stage in their careers.
Yeah, a lot of these younger riders will be drawing from the experience of the elite riders they will race for on the factory teams as well. That's the joy. A lot of these under-23s will be on deals with much more experienced riders, always on hand to you know, show them the ropes in this sport before they come up and become rivals.
Exactly. You know, we're looking at these guys now, they're the under-23s. This is one of the advantages to the national championships, because you don't just have your lead riders from your trade team, you also have the big stars from your national team. And with the under-23s, they're still not rivals, so they're giving them a few of their secrets, whether it be tire pressure, whether it be line choice, whether it be race tactics. You know, that everything gets shared at these world championships, because the more medals you bring home, the more prestige you have for the country, and everybody shares that. Everybody bakes in that glory.
And it looks like Shatti has pulled 9 seconds ahead of Martin Vidar of Chile now, the pre-race favourite. And this man at the front of the pack still, Simone Avondetto of Italy, 20 seconds to the good of the second place rider, the Frenchman Mathis Azzaro, and a whole minute ahead of Luca Shatti of Switzerland in the bronze medal position. As we come into the latter part of this 5th lap here, he'll know how close he is to victory here. He's just got to stay composed, not do anything silly here, and this race will be his.
That's easier said than done in the last lap and a half of a race. You're tired. Look, we see there the French rider pulling his foot out as he comes into the bike park. These are skilled riders, they're experienced riders, but fatigue, it takes no prisoners. And as they're coming in, you know, they've got to really fight and, you know, dig into their last reserves. As we see them there hooking up on the jump. You know, at the beginning of the race, everyone was clearing everything, but the physical toll of this race an hour in is being shown on everybody's technique and everyone's faces.
We see here Luca Shatti in a race of his own in 3rd place now. He's pulled clear, 9 seconds ahead of Martin Vidar, but he's a whole 40 seconds behind the rider in 2nd place, Mathis Azzaro. So you have to assume he's going to ride on his own to the finish of this race, hopefully.
Exactly. Looking how smooth he is. He's obviously given his full effort throughout the race, but he's absolutely judged his race plan to perfection. He's going to come into that last race. He's going to have a really strong last lap. We've got the Frenchman here. He's defending now his 2nd place, because, you know, I think first is starting to pull away from him. He's going to be very, very difficult to pull back 20 seconds on this last lap, but you can be sure as anything he's going to give it everything he has to do that.
So here's the leader again, Avondetto. In the latter part of this penultimate lap here, still working hard, still knows there's no time for complacency here at these World Championships, as any mistake or any drop in form will play right into the hands of the riders behind him, who will still feel they're in with a chance here. Mathis Azzaro, 20 seconds behind, but any mistake here from Avondetto could easily be punished from a 20-second gap behind. He's on to the final straight then for the penultimate time. As Vidar really starting to struggle out here now. Didn't think I'd be saying that here today.
No. You know, he was the big favourite coming in. Everybody was looking at him, and, you know, maybe the pressure's got to him, but in any case, he's had a fantastic race. You know, he's raced as hard as he could. He's shown his colours, but unfortunately, you know, today he's come across better riders than himself.
So Simone Avondetto on to the final lap here of this World Championship race, the under-23 men's UCI Mountain Bike World Championship race.
He's managed to hold the gap between those 2 splits, so he's not lost any time over this last half a lap. Let's see whether he's got anything left in the tank for these last 2 climbs, because the circuit composes 2 major climbs, really steep gradients. Italian rider, the effort's really inscribed on his face now, so let's see how he manages to hold up on these climbs. And Chiatti now coming into the start-finish straight, looking very, very strong for this last lap. You know, he's got a really solid race plan. He's been really constant. He's managed to pull back. Vidar, the pre-race favourite, he's looking very confident here. Let's see whether he's coming back.
Yeah, 3 seconds back. Yeah, he's pulled 3 seconds back out of Avendetto. Maybe Avendetto's just settling into a little bit of a final lap pace here. Now he knows he's close enough, but with just 20 seconds for the rider behind him, he needs to be careful. He's not too complacent on this final lap.
We've got them both here. We can see them on this larger pan shot of the screen.
That doesn't look like 20. Well, I'm not sure if that is 20 seconds anymore.
It's a big, steep climb, but, you know, as we said earlier, Avendetto, he played his cards. He pulled off really hard in lap number 4. He attacked hard. He got the gap. Now he's just trying to defend it. But, of course, when you make that gap, you have to defend it, and it's not an easy task to do.
So Vidar, 1 minute and 7 seconds back now, so losing even more time now. And there's not much of a gap between him and Filippo Fontana of Italy in 5th place.
Yeah, we have a 20-second gap now between 4th and 5th. Let's see how this is going to pan out over the remaining lap. The rider's coming up towards the top of this first climb that is so brutal. It's so exposed. It's so steep. You have the impression that you're not going forward at all because the width of the trail. You know, you can see the people beside you. You're not far off bottom gear. This is really brutal racing.
And this is where the riders will empty the tanks on this final lap. So they don't want to leave anything left in those tanks for when they cross the finish line. Look at this quick look over the shoulder from Avendetto. He's starting to kick now. He just wants to maybe pull out a bit more of a gap now on this final lap just to seal the deal and kill this race off.
Yeah, he knows now that he's got the gap he needs, you know, especially as you get to the top of the climb. You can say, oh, right, you know, I've got a big gap. I just have to be careful on the descents, not make any mistakes. I can then kick in again on the second climb. And he knows that, you know, 20 seconds, that should be enough now. But obviously with a rider of the caliber of Azzaro behind him, well, you know, has he got anything left there to come back onto level playing field?
So some more instructions from the French team there. Probably telling him, you can still get him, you can still get him. He's only 20 seconds ahead of you.
And see a little bit less smooth through the rock garden than we've seen previously. That effort really starting to take its toll now, but this is normal. We're in lap 6 of the World Championships. If you got anything left now, well, maybe you should have used it a bit earlier.
Yeah, now's the time to use any of those reserves of your energy here on the final lap of these World Championships. One race, one title. That's the deal with the World Championships. Not like the World Cup where it's decided over a series. This is one winner takes it all. And that all is a rainbow striped jersey and a gold medal.
Yeah, Azzaro losing 10 seconds on that climb up from the start-finish straight, so Avendetto is really in control of this race now.
So look at the focus. He's starting to breathe a bit heavier now through his mouth, you can see. Yeah. It's to be expected at the end of this race here, where he's really dug deep for this one. And he had to dig deep to make sure that Vidar didn't pull away from that race there. And him and Azzaro could be very pleased with the way they handled that there. And their attitude towards Vidar trying to pull away. They stayed with it. They didn't let him get too far away. They let him go off and make his own race, and they let him blow up.
They did indeed. Fantastic racecraft from the Italian rider. You can see it's not just the racecraft he has in spades. He's also got technique. We see him doing repeated nose turns through these routes. Not an easy thing to do as the French rider. They're a little bit less fluid than Azzaro, but still, you know, really technically proficient guys, and you can see the effort etched on all of their faces.
Yeah, he's really gritting his teeth now. Avendetto is really digging deep in this final lap just to make sure he really seals the deal here in Le Jet. He's got to keep his focus up here, as one slight mistake could be punished here by Mattis Azzaro. But it's 27 seconds the gap now between the two of them, so it's looking a bit more comfortable now for Simone Avendetto of Italy to take the gold medal here Great racing here from Luca Sciatti. Come all the way through the pack here, up into third place. Great race from him to get up into the bronze medal position for Switzerland.
Our pre-race favourite Vidar, who made a fantastic move on lap 3. Well, he's now, really paying the price, but still in for a 4th place. It's not a shabby ride at all.
Yeah, exactly. 4th place at any World Championships is never anything to throw away. Let's look here on the screen, going through the tech feed zone here. Chance to taking on some last-minute fuel here for that burst to the finish. And we can see the gaps here between the riders visually on the screen. No numbers needed here. You can see just how far away they are from each other on this aerial shot here. There we go, a whole minute.
What's happened to the French rider? Has Azaro had a problem in the woods?
I see Azaro go through the screen just now. That's the 3rd place rider. I'm not sure why we're seeing the gap between 1st and 3rd, but it's a minute at the moment. So Sciatti just settling into 3rd place there, losing 3 seconds on Avondetto. Or Avondetto just deciding to push in this final part of the race, just to really kill off any challenge from Matthias Azaro of France. Look at him, he's got his head down, his elbows are out, he's gritting his teeth. He really wants this. Look at the focus on the Italian's face. He is digging deep here in Ligier. He wants this gold medal. He wants to be crowned world champion, and it's looking good. And you see that little signal there from Azaro to the crowd, trying to get them to make even more noise.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, and this is the 103, so it's going to be a rider who's going to get lapped. Hopefully he's not going to
Bit
hold.
of a mechanical here.
Yeah, he's behind, he's in front of Azaro there. He's going to look there, there you go. He's going to see that, and he's going to move out of the way, hopefully, of the Frenchman and let him pass and not hold him up. There you go. Moves to the side of the track to let him through. Doesn't slow him down too much, hopefully, but you've got to say this race is pretty much run now for Avondetto, being chased there by some fans, giving him some verbal encouragement, helping him to dig deep in this final part of the course. And here we go, one of the riders of the race here to pull it back into 3rd place for Luca Sciatti. 22 years old from Switzerland, only 2 4th place in the World Cup this year, so this is going to be the standout result of his season for the Swiss rider.
It is indeed perfect time to pull out all the stops. He moves up to the elites next year, so to finish your under-23 career with a medal, that's a really good pointer for the future.
Yeah, and look at this, 35 seconds now, the gap between these 2 riders here. Avondetto really flying now. Azaro of France in 2nd, and here's Sciatti of Switzerland, Luca Sciatti of Switzerland in 3rd place, 57 seconds behind, so he's keeping on pace, you've got to say, with Avondetto.
Which is really impressive when you see the speed that Avondetto is carrying through all of these obstacles, carrying up the climbs. This means that, Luca Sciatti is having a fantastic race too, and Azaro, well, he's trying to limit the damage now in 2nd place, come in for that fantastic silver medal here on his home track in Ligier.
And the pre-race favourite, Martin Vidar of Chile, back in 4th, 1 minute 15 seconds behind his race run there by the looks of it. Going to be outside of the medal contention unless he can pull out 18 seconds in the latter half of this lap. But seeing how he's been riding, how tired he's looking after that big push earlier on, that looks out of the question there. Bjorn Riley up in the 5th place for the USA. Good result for him on the cards. 1 minute and 46 seconds back. Filippo Fontana of Italy. So we'll have 2 Italian riders in the top 10 here in Ligier. He's there in 7th place. Dario Lillo of Switzerland is in 7th place, ahead of Riley Amos of the USA. Luke Weidman of Switzerland, another Swiss rider. 3 Swiss in the top 10. Then it's going to be David Campos in 10th place. And Mario Bear of Austria in 11.
Well, yeah, Azaro starting it up through the big doubles there, down into the technical section through the woods.
That's right, he'll be pushing all the way to the line. He'll be...
he's enjoying himself now. He knows that gold medal's gone, but doesn't mean to say he can't enjoy himself in front of his home crowd.
There we go.
Come through for this 2nd place.
Starting up down the switchbacks, the downhill part of the course, the most fun-looking part of the course, for my money. But you can't even see Oh, I think, no, you can't even see Avondetto in shot. He's that far ahead. Here's Scatti of Switzerland, riding his own race there in third place.
What a race he's ridden.
Yeah, doing well to come right through to the pack. But not long to go now for the man at the front, Simone Avondetto. Gold medal awaits him and the rainbow striped jersey for the 22-year-old Italian national champion, European champion, and very soon, hopefully, a world champion. So look at that, he's going to do the clean sweep of championship jerseys, national, Euro and world, once he gets over that finish line.
That's certainly a year he'll never forget. Fantastic performance. You know, he's obviously shown that he's been on form all year. He's confirmed his promise, the national team, the confidence and what they've invested in him. You know, he's paid it back in spades now.
Yeah, that's right. And just before moving up into the elites, 22 years old, so he'll be into the elites next year. And what a springboard this will be for him. Here we go. He's going to be your new world champion here in Leger in 2022. Simone Avondetto of Italy is the world champion for the under-23 men cross-country Olympic. There we go. Already feeling it there. Mattis Azaro, a silver medal for him. And listen to that crowd getting behind him there, pushing him over the line. Look how much this silver medal means to him, and he's going to wheelie over the line. Ecstatic then, the Frenchman, with that silver medal and second place here in front of a jubilant home crowd. And here's Luca Scatti, a great race to come through the pack here for third place, you've got to say, for the Swiss rider. There's some fans of his right there.
He knows he's done a ride, look at that, he's happy with himself. He's followed his race plan, he's executed it to perfection, and that's obviously resulted for him in a brilliant third place here in Leger for the 2022 UCI World Under-23 Cross Country Championships.
Yeah, and here's a case of what could have been for Martin Vidar. Just pushed too early there and was made to pay for it. Taking nothing away, of course, from Simone Avondetto, Mattis Azaro and Luca Scatti in 1, 2 and 3. But he will be disappointed with that result there, being the reigning world champion. I'm sure he'll go over to congratulate the guys in 1, 2 and 3. Good ride here, though, from Bjorn Riley as well of the United States. Another rider that came through the pack here today to claim a top 5 at the World Championships. Next up, it's going to be Filippo Fontana of Italy coming through for 6th place. No need to look over your shoulder, Filippo. There's no one behind you. And then there's Dario Lilo, who checks over his shoulder for safety down the final straight. Doesn't want to get pimped at the line there. And he's going to come over the line for Switzerland. In 7th place, another USA rider, Riley Amos, coming over the line into 8th place. There's got to be a mixture of elation of finishing this high up and just pure relief that it's all over for another year.
Yeah, these riders, they've fought as hard as they possibly can all the way through. You know, they've delivered. Some of them have over-delivered. Some of them have suffered. But, you know, at the end of the day, they've all put everything they've had in. They've ridden themselves into the ground for this. And you can see they're just now coming through, soaking up this atmosphere. This will be a memory that'll live with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's right. That's Luke Weidman of Switzerland. Looks pretty happy with that 9th place. Then we've got, that's going to be the Spaniard, David Campos, coming through.